Hello fellow builders and welcome back to the bench. Mediocre Modeler here, back on our Mandalorian build. And okay, so if you were paying attention to the sequences that are being released, the last video I released was video part 5. Well, it should have actually been part 4. And since my brain won't allow me to not have that number sequence, we're going to call this one part 4, which is fine. But we're working on, as you can tell, soft goods, my Tunic, and that means I have to deal with my old nemesis, the sewing machine. Sewing is like any other building skill. You just have to do it to get better at it. I just don't do it enough. You would think that with the cosplay I would be doing more. And I did start off pretty good. When I made my Jedi costume, I used this pattern. And I've continued to use different pieces of it. The robe is awesome. And then I used this uniform as the Jedi costume. But I also use pieces of this one. This is like the king and the knight's tunic. I got it for, and so that's what this is. This is the short tunic, and I made it large because I had to be able to get it on over my jumpsuit. But I have my pieces of foam cut out for my armor, and the way I was going to do it is I'm going to shorten this up here like that, something like that, and then I'm going to have my armor pieces. So I have the first suspicion. I'm thinking my armor plates are too small, but also I want to be able to have this stay kind of close to my body. And the way I thought about doing it is this has this wraparound belt part there. Let's see. Hold on. Yeah, so on the belt, right there, see that belt there? Well, I made that for my Jedi costume out of the material I use my robes for. And where did sorry about that. Okay, so this is the material, and it's a belt. So I want to be able to hold the bottom of this kind of flush to my body, but I want to break, so I was thinking about sewing this to this like that. But okay, let's do it this way so you can see the problem. The problem is it's too short. It's supposed to have like belts on either end, and you're supposed to wrap it all the way around and tie it in the middle. So how do we solve this problem? Then I thought, hold on. Okay, so these are some of the pieces. This is where I'm keeping my accessories for the Mandalorian. So when I had my arm guards, they're hanging in the paint booth now, but to keep everything kind of condensed together, I print the stuff and put them in this tub. So here's one of the flamethrower sides. Here's the back of one of the arm guards. Here's the whistling bird's front tube. You know, there's just grappling hook. I also have pieces to make the rangefinder. Okay? But also I have in here, oh, where are the other ones? Thermal detonators. And so my thought was, I had 3 of them. I was working on one on the bench here. Okay, so I wanted to be able to carry these and I had a couple of thoughts. One thought was to have some kind of a bandolero going on like this, you know, and then just have the grenades attached that way, which is still an option. But then I thought, you know, to be able to close this gap, to be able to close the gap in my waist, around the waist, what I could do is just make myself a pouch pocket. Because if you look at Boba Fett's uniform, costume, or whatever, he's got two huge pockets right on each thigh. Well, I have big pieces of thigh armor, so I figured just one pocket would do it. One pocket would do it. And this was partially the material I was going to use. So this used to be a sleeve. I recycle a lot of stuff. I'm just saying. So this used to be a sleeve. And what I could do is just sew the bottom or sew the bottom together, make a top for it, a flap that can close with Velcro or snaps or something, and then that could be my pouch for me to put my thermal detonators in. So that's one idea. Either way, it's going to require some work on the sewing machine. So I guess let's get to it. So here's how I'm going to tackle this. I'm going to tackle this a couple of different ways. I'm going to try and make the pocket first, since I've already got something already built, but I think it's too wide. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to excuse me. So I'm going to turn it inside out, so I have a nice looking seam on the outside. This is the bottom side there, where that seam was. That will be the inside against my body. I'm thinking through this as I'm working it. So I turn it inside out. Alright. First. Alright. To shorten it, I'm going to just gather the end and do that. And then if I sew it that way, that's going to shorten it. And then all this extra material will be my flap. And then all I have to do is sew it at the bottom to close the bottom. Yeah. If I want to make it even shorter, I could do that at the other on the other end. It's just gather both sides. The nice thing about this is, because it's a Mandalorian, it needs to look a little bit haphazard, a little bit tattered. So my sewing skills are perfect. So I can just sew it like garbage, and then it's just like, hey, built-in weathering. So let's get this sewn and see what happens. Okay, so the pouch thing totally did not work. The problem was I was trying to go way too complex, and I still want a pouch. I think it's a good idea, but the primary thing here is to get the foam pieces onto the chest plate and get it snug to the body. What did we come up with? Okay, we added a little bit. We used the material from the chest piece to add tabs onto the ends of my belt. I measured it around my waist, and we added snaps to it. So this is fairly snug. So as long as I stay paunchy, it'll be tight. I do want this to be on my side. So the next thing is, so I put this around my waist, and then I pulled the tunic over. Okay, no. Put the tunic on first, put this around my waist, then I marked it where the top of the belt's going to be. So now I'm going to cut it below that and make a lip to sew the pieces together. So the front piece, at the very least, the front piece will be attached to this. This will pull it all tight around my waist. Then I can attach the foam pieces. The one thing I did notice, the way the tunic is made, it flares. The pattern is it's angled. So as it goes down your body, it gets bigger. And I need it to be more straight up and down. So I'm going to have to figure out the width and then cut it straight up on both sides so that I get more of a rectangular trunk to put my angular foam pieces on. Okay? Okay. Okay. This is just as much for me as it is for you because I don't have a mirror down here. And as a test fit, I think this looks good. Here was my issue. When you cut the pattern out, it's like bell shaped. So as it goes down, it gets wider and it flares out around here. At the waist, it was still way too big, so I had to bring it in. So at first, I was just going to go to the middle of the back and cut a triangle out and then pull the two pieces together and sew them together, which would have worked, but I wouldn't have had a straight line, and it would have made the back look funky. So then, after thinking about it, I figured, okay, let's take the material out of the sides, which it worked out because I am a little bit broader in the chest here, and then my waist it's the contour of the waist that I was looking for. So I was hoping I didn't take too much out. I think this is fine. We're going to go with this because I have to keep in mind I'm keeping enough room in here for when I have my tunic on, my jumpsuit on. When the jumpsuit's on, it's going to be a lot tighter than this. So what we're going to do is go ahead and cut the material out and sew our sides up. That way, that'll put us in a situation where we'll be ready to actually figure out how to attach the body armor pieces. This was a 3D printed model for the I keep poking myself. Hold on here. Hold on. There. Okay. So this is the lower torso armor piece that I 3D printed, which is far too small for me. But I did use the angle. So I used this. I just separated it, and that's where I get my angle with the flat. So that's why this looks like that. In an effort not to waste anything, instead of using it for that, flip it upside down and glue the pieces together, and this can be my cod piece. So I think that'll work rather well. I just need to maybe figure out a way to glue it at an angle where it'll stay, and then probably attach a piece of fabric to the back of it with some Velcro to where I can Velcro the back of my belt, and then it'll go just like that. I think that'll work just fine. But we're going to go back to get this stuff. We're going to get this off and get it sewn and see what kind of trouble we can get into there. So I'm going to do that. Okay, so got this sewn. Front, nice little edge there. Cut off the back. Got that nice edge there. We've got the front marked. That's where our belt's gonna go. I've got marks to where the belt's gonna go across here. So we need to start working on figuring out where the Velcro is gonna go. This is what we're gonna do. That piece is gonna go there first. All right. We figure out where the center is, and it's gonna go there. And then once we have this placed, placed, we're going to go with our side pieces to see where they need to be in relation to each other for the keeping the center open for the iron heart. So what we're doing to remove that material is a grinding wheel, and I've marked the back panels with like a 2-inch strip around the edges, and we're just going to grind this down so we can get our first bits of Velcro onto our body panel. So we're gonna do that. Hold on there, cowboy. I guess I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. The whole point of this video was the completion of the tunic, the soft goods, and starting with an unkempt piece of fabric and going to that. If that's what I was going for, if I was mimicking a flak vest only or whatever, I feel like I've nailed it. My edges are very nice. It's what I was going for. My edges are tapered. It fits my body. I've already started the whole gluing process of using contact cement to get the Velcro pieces on there, but we're going to save that for the next video. For now, we're going to call this good. The tunic is complete. We're ready to go to get the different pieces on there for the armor plate and placement. Until next time, thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the little bell to be notified, like and subscribe, all that good media stuff. See you on Instagram, see you on Facebook, see you on Twitter, all those social media things where you're going to go build something and then you're going to show us. So go build something so you can show us. Talk to you next time. Pew 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 pew.